At this very moment, there may be someone whose heart beats a little faster every time you come to mind. You may not see it yet, and you may not realize how deeply this person feels about you. Every time your name passes through his thoughts, something inside him quietly changes. There is an important truth waiting to reach you, and perhaps this is the moment you are finally ready to hear it. There is one man who continues to appear in your thoughts, your dreams, and the quiet moments when you wonder if true love will ever find its way into your life. His feelings are not shallow or temporary. They are sincere, deep, and stronger than you may have imagined. Before you decide that these words could never relate to you, pause for a moment. Allow yourself to stay open. Sometimes the answers we have been searching for arrive when we least expect them. What you are about to understand may help you see your situation from a completely different perspective. Nothing in life happens by pure accident. The fact that you are reading these words now may feel like a coincidence, but sometimes meaningful moments appear exactly when they are needed most. There may be a truth about love and connection that has remained hidden from you until now. It is a truth about someone whose emotions have grown quietly while you may have been unaware of their depth. There is another side to this story. It is more complex than it first appears. Something beneath the surface has been preventing this connection from becoming what it has the potential to be. As you continue listening, you may begin to understand why this relationship has not fully unfolded and what has been standing in its way. Deep inside, you have probably sensed it already. Perhaps you noticed the atmosphere change whenever this person was close. Maybe there were moments when your conversations felt more meaningful than ordinary words could explain. Perhaps you caught a glance that lasted just a little longer than expected. Later, you may have found yourself lying awake, wondering if those moments were real or simply something your imagination created. The feelings you noticed deserve your attention. Sometimes your heart recognizes something before your mind can explain it. Your intuition may have been trying to guide you while your logical thoughts kept searching for reasons to doubt what you felt. Not everything meaningful can be explained immediately. This man carries emotions that even he struggles to understand. At times, the strength of those feelings surprises him. Falling in love was never part of his plan. It happened naturally, little by little, without force or intention. Just as the sunrise comes without asking permission, his feelings slowly grew until they became impossible to ignore. From the moment you entered his life, something shifted inside him. That feeling has remained with him despite distance, changing circumstances, or the passing of time. No matter how much he tried to focus elsewhere, his heart continued returning to you. It is important to understand that the difficulties between you are not proof that this connection is wrong. They do not automatically mean you are not meant to share a future together. Many people believe that true love should always be simple and effortless. In reality, meaningful relationships often face challenges that encourage both people to grow before they can fully come together. Sometimes love arrives with lessons attached to it. Those lessons are not there to destroy the connection. They exist to help both people become emotionally stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the relationship they truly desire. For a long time, your own life has been preparing you as well. Every lonely evening, every silent prayer, every tear that seemed unnoticed has shaped you into someone different. None of those moments were meaningless. You have loved with an open heart. You have often given more than you received. You stayed loyal when others walked away. You believed in people even when they struggled to believe in themselves. Through every experience, your heart became both gentler and stronger. You learned compassion without losing your strength. You learned patience while carrying disappointment. Most importantly, you slowly became capable of recognizing genuine love instead of settling for something that only looked like it. This man is connected to that journey. His presence in your life is not separate from everything you have experienced. However, before this relationship can move forward, the obstacle between you must first be understood. Awareness often becomes the first step toward change. These words are not meant to offer temporary comfort. Their purpose is deeper than that. They invite you to see your experiences with fresh understanding and to recognize parts of yourself that may have remained hidden until now. Take a quiet moment to acknowledge your own readiness. You do not need to prove anything to anyone else. Simply allow yourself to admit that you are willing to see your love life with greater honesty, even if some answers feel complicated at first. Life also reminds us that every act of kindness creates movement. Whenever you give support, encouragement, or compassion, you set positive energy into motion. What you share with others often finds its way back to you in unexpected ways. Even when nothing seems to be changing on the surface, many things may be happening quietly behind the scenes. Opportunities develop, hearts soften, circumstances shift. The progress may be invisible today, but that does not mean it is absent. Perhaps this is why you were guided to these words. Confusion may slowly begin to disappear while clarity starts taking its place. Doubt may lose its strength as confidence quietly grows inside you. If these words continue to feel meaningful, do not ignore that feeling. Sometimes understanding arrives as a calm inner certainty rather than dramatic proof. Your own heart may recognize something long before your mind fully accepts it. You may now be entering a new stage of awareness. This can influence the way you understand your emotions, your relationships, and the direction your life is taking. Growth often begins with a simple change in perspective. Love, healing, purpose, and patience are closely connected. As you become more aligned with your own journey, situations that once seemed confusing often begin to make sense. Even if every answer has not arrived yet, something inside you may already be changing. Many people have found healing after believing it was impossible. Relationships have been restored after long periods of distance. Lives that once felt uncertain have discovered new direction. Love has entered the hearts of people who finally became ready to receive it. Now, allow yourself to focus completely on this message about the man whose feelings continue growing and the challenge that still stands between you. Take a slow breath. Relax your shoulders. Let unnecessary tension leave your body. Give yourself permission to remain present as these thoughts unfold with care and compassion. The man being described never intended to fall in love. At first, he probably convinced himself that what he felt was simple admiration or friendship. He searched for logical explanations because the truth seemed too overwhelming to accept. But emotions cannot always be explained away. The heart continues speaking even when the mind tries to silence it. No matter how many reasons he created, one truth remained unchanged. He loves you. His feelings reach far beyond simple attraction. They have quietly transformed the way he sees his future and the way he understands himself. Loving you has become part of his inner world, whether he speaks about it or not. You may wonder whether this message truly relates to the person already in your thoughts. No one else can answer that with certainty. However, meaningful messages often encourage personal reflection. If someone naturally comes to mind as you read, it may be worth considering why that person feels important to you and what your own experiences have shown you. Now let us speak honestly about the complication. A challenge does not automatically mean the story is over. Difficulties are not the same as impossibilities. They are simply obstacles that require patience, wisdom, honest communication, and the willingness to grow. Sometimes the greatest relationships are not the ones that begin perfectly. They are the ones where two people learn, heal, and become ready to build something lasting together. The situation between you and this man is more complicated than it appears on the surface. The challenge is rooted in fear, but not the kind most people immediately think of. It is not simply a fear of commitment, and it is not only a fear of falling in love. It is a much deeper fear, one that has been shaped over many years through experiences that left lasting marks on his heart. Some of those experiences may be things he has shared with very few people. Others may be feelings he has never fully admitted, even to himself. They remain hidden beneath the surface, quietly influencing the way he approaches love, trust, and emotional connection. This man has experienced pain that changed him. At some point in his life, he allowed someone to see his vulnerable side. He believed in love, opened his heart, and hoped for something real. Instead of finding the safety and acceptance he longed for, he experienced disappointment. That disappointment may have come through rejection, betrayal, broken promises, or simply realizing that someone he deeply cared about never truly appreciated the love he had to give. The exact details are different for every person, but the result is often the same. A wounded heart begins to protect itself. After living through those painful moments, he slowly built emotional walls around himself. Those walls were never meant to push everyone away forever. They were built because he believed they were necessary for survival. Every layer became another form of protection. Every hesitation became another attempt to avoid feeling that same heartbreak again. Over time, protecting himself became a habit so natural that he no longer questioned it. It simply became the way he lived. Then something unexpected happened. You entered his life. Without forcing anything, without trying to change him, you somehow reached a place inside him that very few people have ever been able to reach. Your presence carried a sense of comfort that quietly slipped past the defenses he had spent so much time building. The way you naturally express yourself, the kindness you show, the energy you bring, and the way your heart connects with others created something he was not prepared to experience. He never expected to feel this way again. He believed those deep emotions had been buried beneath years of caution and emotional distance. Yet your presence awakened something within him that he thought had disappeared forever. Suddenly, feelings he believed were long gone began returning. Hope quietly appeared where he once expected only disappointment. That unexpected change has become both beautiful and frightening for him. This is where the complication truly begins. Even though his heart naturally moves toward you, another part of him keeps trying to pull away. His emotions invite him closer, while his thoughts remind him of every painful experience that came before. His heart whispers that this connection feels different. His mind answers with warnings about what could happen if he trusts again. These two parts of him continue pulling in opposite directions. Inside him, there is a quiet battle taking place every day. One side longs for closeness, honesty, and love. The other side fears loss, disappointment, and another broken heart. Because of this inner conflict, his actions may sometimes appear confusing. At one moment, he may seem warm, caring, and emotionally present. At another moment, he may seem distant, uncertain, or difficult to understand. These changing behaviors are often reflections of the struggle happening inside him rather than reflections of how he truly feels about you. It is important for you to understand something very clearly. This struggle is not a reflection of your value. It is not happening because you are missing something. It is not happening because you are unworthy of love. Nothing about this situation should convince you that you are not enough. His fears existed long before you entered his life. They were created by experiences that shaped the way he sees relationships. You did not create those fears, and you are not responsible for carrying them. They belong to his own healing journey. In many ways, your presence has become part of that healing process. You arrived in his life at a time when something inside him was quietly asking for change. Whether he realizes it consciously or not, meeting you challenged beliefs he had carried for years. You became living proof that kindness still exists, that honesty still exists, and that genuine connection is still possible. Nothing about your meeting feels completely random. Sometimes people enter our lives exactly when they are needed most. They arrive not to rescue us, but to awaken something sleeping within us. In his case, your presence has reminded him that love is still possible even after disappointment. It has reminded him that not every story ends the same way. If these words speak to something deep inside you, allow yourself to receive them with an open heart. Sometimes the greatest clarity comes not through endless searching, but through quiet recognition. When something feels true deep within your spirit, you do not always need endless proof. You simply notice a peaceful understanding settling inside you. Remember that love has its own seasons. Just as nature moves through spring, summer, autumn, and winter, relationships also unfold through different stages. Every season has its purpose. Some seasons are filled with joy and closeness. Others are filled with waiting, learning, healing, and preparation. None of those seasons are wasted. Timing is playing an important role in your story. Even if everything feels slower than you hoped, it does not mean nothing is happening. Delays are not always signs of failure. Sometimes they create the conditions needed for something stronger to grow. Certain lessons cannot be rushed. Certain changes require time to become real. The challenges you are experiencing now are not proof that this connection is meant to fail. Instead, they suggest that certain pieces still need to come into alignment before everything can fully come together. Foundations must become strong before something lasting can be built upon them. The man who loves you needs time, not because he wishes to move away from you, but because he needs to face the fears that have quietly controlled him for so long. He needs to recognize that the same walls he built to protect his heart are now preventing him from receiving the love he has secretly desired all along. That realization cannot be forced by another person. It must come from within him. Real healing always begins inside. It happens when someone becomes willing to face uncomfortable truths instead of continuing to run from them. Your role in this process is different from what fear may tell you. You are not being asked to chase him. You are not being asked to convince him of your value. You are not being asked to carry the responsibility for his healing. Instead, your role is to remain true to yourself. Continue growing. Continue protecting your own peace. Continue becoming the healthiest version of yourself while trusting that the same force that brought your paths together is capable of completing what it has started. Waiting is never easy. Uncertainty has a way of testing patience. Naturally, your heart wants answers. You want to know when he will finally move forward without hesitation. You want reassurance that everything will eventually become clear. Although no exact date can honestly be given, one thing can be said with confidence. Change is already happening. Even if you cannot yet see it with your eyes, movement is taking place beneath the surface. Quiet changes are happening inside him. His heart is slowly becoming softer. Old emotional wounds are gradually losing their power. New understanding is beginning to replace old fear. Healing often happens silently before it becomes visible. Just as seeds grow underground long before they appear above the soil, emotional growth usually begins where no one else can see it. That invisible process is just as important as the visible results that eventually follow. There is another part of his situation that deserves understanding. His fears are not only connected to the past, they are also connected to the life he is living right now. He often feels unprepared. When he looks at his current situation, he compares himself with the version of himself he believes he should already be. He notices what he has not yet accomplished instead of recognizing how far he has already come. Those comparisons create pressure inside him. A quiet voice continues telling him that he should wait until everything is better. He wants greater stability. He wants more confidence. He wants to feel stronger emotionally, financially, or personally before offering you a serious commitment. Part of him believes he is protecting you by waiting. He worries that approaching you while feeling uncertain about himself might eventually lead to disappointment. He wants to give you something meaningful. He wants to feel capable of standing beside you with confidence instead of insecurity. This desire is not only about money or success. It reaches much deeper than that. It is connected to self-worth. He wants to believe that he deserves the love being offered to him. He wants to feel like an equal partner instead of someone who believes he is falling behind. Yet there is an important lesson that life is patiently teaching him. No one arrives at love with every part of life perfectly organized. No one reaches a point where every fear has disappeared, every dream has been completed, and every problem has been solved. Human life simply does not work that way. Every person is still growing. Every person is still learning. Every person is still becoming who they were created to be. Love is not something reserved only for people whose lives are completely perfect. Love is experienced by imperfect people who choose to grow together. It exists while people continue healing, learning, making mistakes, and becoming wiser through experience. The belief that he must become completely ready before allowing himself to love has quietly taken valuable time away from both of you. Time that could have been spent creating memories, supporting one another, and building a future together. Little by little, this belief is beginning to change. Small moments of understanding are entering his life. New perspectives are replacing old assumptions. He is slowly beginning to realize that waiting for perfection often becomes another way of avoiding vulnerability. Perfection is an illusion. It continues moving farther away no matter how close someone believes they have come. What truly creates lasting relationships is not perfection. It is honesty, it is commitment, it is patience. It is two imperfect people choosing to grow together instead of waiting until every weakness disappears. As this understanding continues developing within him, his decisions will naturally begin to change. Fear will no longer speak as loudly as it once did. Confidence will slowly replace hesitation. Hope will gradually become stronger than doubt. While this process continues within him, remember that your own journey deserves just as much attention. There may have been moments when you quietly questioned whether you were truly worthy of the love your heart desires. Perhaps disappointment from your own past created small doubts that still appear from time to time. Perhaps part of you wondered whether lasting love was something meant for other people instead of for you. Those thoughts do not tell the truth. Your worth has never depended on another person's ability to recognize it. It has never been measured by relationships that ended, mistakes you regret, or moments when others failed to appreciate your heart. Your value has always existed. Nothing has the power to remove it because it is part of who you are. You deserve respect. You deserve honesty. You deserve kindness. You deserve a love that brings peace instead of constant uncertainty. When this man finally reaches the place where he allows himself to move forward without fear, he will not simply be giving you something valuable. He will also recognize the gift he has been receiving all along. He will understand the quiet strength you showed, the patience you carried, and the space you held while he found the courage to heal. As time continues moving forward, more changes will naturally begin appearing within this connection. A moment of realization is approaching for him. It may happen through a meaningful conversation with someone whose opinion he deeply respects. It may happen during a quiet evening when he finally becomes honest with himself. It may arrive unexpectedly through an experience that causes him to see everything from a completely different perspective. However it happens, that moment will become a turning point. When it arrives, you will begin noticing small but meaningful differences. His hesitation will slowly become less powerful. The emotional distance that once existed will begin to shrink. He will naturally search for opportunities to be closer to you. He will find simple reasons to start conversations, spend time together, and express feelings that have remained hidden for far too long. His actions will gradually begin matching what his heart has quietly known from the beginning.